Hey fellow collectors, I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art, and I am here at Baltimore Comic Con with one of my favorite modern artists in the business, Mr. Mark Buckingham. Thank you for taking a couple minutes with me, Mark.
Okay.
I was just talking to you about how the last book I read regularly was Fables, and I want you to just touch on that as far as what has Fables meant to you?
Oh, it's been very special for me. I've always loved fairy tales and fantasy kind of stories. I always felt that it was a wonderful series for people to be able to engage with, because there is a kind of inherent knowledge in people of all these stories, because they've all grown up with them in their childhoods. So
whether Disney or just in some very other sundry things.
Exactly. So people feel like they already know who these characters are. So it gives them a way of immediately engaging with the series, which is why I think it's been so successful with people that weren't comic readers before. It becomes very accessible.
Right.
And I think it's been a wonderful book for me to work on. They have such strong female protagonists in the book. It also allows me to indulge in the things that I love, like drawing animals and a lot of fantastic creatures. So it's been a huge joy for me to be part of it.
Yeah, now has it been, at least 15 years?
We did 15 years. We took a little break. Last year was our 20th anniversary.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that's why we came back with a new 12-part story.
Oh, tell us about that.
The Black Forest, we're basically finding out what happens next with Snow and Bigby and the Cubs. We also introduce some other new characters that we haven't seen before, including Bill was really happy that he finally got to introduce
Bill Willingham.
Bill Willingham was really happy that he could get to introduce Peter Pan and Tinkerbell into the
cool.
world of Fables, because he'd always wanted them to be a part of the story.
Yes,
so it's been
awesome.
huge fun to do.
Now, one thing as an art dealer and as an art guy, I see if Jack Kirby was still alive and it's still at his chops and drawing more story-oriented, not so actiony, here you are.
That's a huge compliment. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the early 2000s studying Jack's pencils, because I was trying to find a way of bringing increased kind of dynamism and energy to my work, and clearly a lot of it
in your regular superhero job.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Batman
I think at the time I was doing Spider-Man, and it was in the early days when I was starting to do work like Pumpkinhead, before I then went on to do Fables with Bill Willingham. So in those books, I was trying to find a new way of working that would bring more dynamic into the story. My pencils up until that point had been quite sensitive and delicate, and I knew that there was something missing for readers who really wanted some energy in the story. So Kirby was a huge influence at that point.
That is very, very interesting, because I've actually worked with other European artists and rep them, and they were very good at storytelling, but they lacked that certain Kirby dynamicism. What would that word use? Dynamicism. They lacked being good at action. They lacked that, and they had to learn that. That was the boundary of their comic work, and and guys that worked with Bendis, that would have a lot of talking and stuff like that. And they had to learn that, other European type guys. And that kind of reflects in the collecting habits of European art collectors, where they will not so much have to have that action page. It's just, if it's a story page, there's more of an appreciation for story page, what I call story pages over in Europe. Like that.
I think so. I think we're more interested in the sequential work, less fixated on big splash imagery.
Yeah, big punches. That's so interesting.
I think it's also with a lot of the British guys, especially those of us that worked on like Vertigo books and stuff, we spent most of our time drawing very small, intimate scenes, usually involving being in a pub and having a beer. So, and then something strange, creatures appearing. There wasn't that kind of action-orientated storytelling in a lot of our
What was
work.
your main Vertigo book?
I worked on Sandman, I worked on Death, I worked on Hellblazer.
Okay.
You know, Hellblazer, you know, it's full of talking heads and occasional demons. So yeah, it was nice to kind of be able to move beyond that and to get different aspects into my work.
Well, that's so cool. Thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure, Anthony. It's always lovely seeing you.
Yeah. Well, what's my name?
Anthony.
Anthony. Anthony. I love the way you say that. I'm Anthony Snyder with Anthony's Comic Book Art with Mark Buckingham here at Baltimore Con, talking about his work and his influences. And thank you so much again.
My pleasure.